I should be going to bed. It is 2:15 a.m. and I have to be at work at 9:15 a.m. I just got off a live stream with someone who I've followed for years, and now we are mutuals. Chris Mowry. He's awesome. Honestly, like, go follow him. I'll tag him. But so much of America has been brainwashed to believe that this and the Bible are synonymous and go hand in hand with each other. Now, obviously, because of the way my camera is facing, you can't really read because it's backwards. So I'm going to read what it says. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America. Okay? In this text, this is the entire Constitution and Declaration of Independence. I'm going to start my YouTube series about reading this front to back. So check that out, link in bio. No, it specifically states a separation of church and state. What is the state? The United States of America. In case we forgot what the state was. Okay. Now what is the church? Now there are many different kinds of church, right? We've got Christianity, we've got Islam, we've got Judaism, Hinduism, I will literally list every single religion if you would like me to. Buddhism, Taoism. Didn't think I'd bring up Taoism, but I did. You know, people who, practice other spiritual means, voodoo, hoodoo, brujeria. I don't consider Wiccan a religion, nor do I consider it a genuine spiritual practice. Paganism, Satanism, right? Those are not the same as the state. Those are clearly separate from the state. However, there are a specific denomination of religion who is very intertwined with the state. Now, don't get me wrong. You should have the right to practice whatever you believe in, whether or not you believe in something. You should have the right to not believe in something if you don't believe in something. You should have that right. Right? You know, people believe in different things. Right? People read a different book. This, unfortunately, is not one of those kinds of texts. Okay? Each state within the United States has its own state constitution, as well as the U.S. Constitution. Each state constitution is different from each other, but each state follows the U.S. Constitution. Unfortunately, in the last 22 years of my life, I've not heard of a state seceding. I've lived in 2. I've been to about 12. None have seceded. So they all follow this book. The words in this fucking book. Or they should, at least. In normal times, they should be, pretty to the text, But I am loud. But, unfortunately, under this administration, this text has essentially just been thrown the fuck out. There have been several times, considering the debate that I was just on. And if you would like to go watch that, it will be on Chris Mowry's YouTube. And I may ask if I could put it on my own, just because these were words that I used, right? Anyway, besides the point. There have been several times where the government, especially Democrats in the government, in the last 30 years, have tried to codify Roe v. Wade into this book, right? Make it an amendment. Several times. We have not held the majority for a majority in the House nor the Senate, nor have we been able to hold that majority to be able to get the votes that we need to codify Roe v. Wade into the Constitution. What is Roe v. Wade? Well, there's actually two cases that I would love to bring up. So, Roe v. Wade, the court case that legalized abortion, not federally, right? Because if it was federally legalized, I would be able to find it in this book. Trust, I would have it memorized. I'm a Planned Parenthood volunteer. I would have it memorized if it was in this book, but it's not. Considering how deep APAC is embedded into not only Republicans, but also Democrats, anytime that the Democrats have tried to gain a majority, you start out with a majority, right, where in preliminary hearings about said codification of Roe v. Wade, you'll see in the beginning stages, you'll see a majority, or you'll see a majority. You won't see the majority needed, but you'll see a majority, because there has to be a specific amount of votes for it to go through. It can't just be, well, that one has more. It has to be a specific amount. Period. A specific amount. Just like in the Senate, when they are voting for things, it has to be 60%. Why 60%? There are 100 Senate members. Congress is different. Congress is based off of population. Senate. Each state gets 2 Senate members. One who stays at home in state, one who stays in D.C. most often. So there's 50 states. There's 100 senators. Okay? So with that being said, 60% of 100% is 60 out of 100 people. Okay? That is more than half. That is a 60-40 majority. It has to be a 60-40 majority. Has to be a 60% majority. Okay? The way the bills work. Get written out by lawyers. We've read the I'm a Bill. We've watched the I'm a Bill, right? You know, the good old Schoolhouse Rock song, I'm a Bill, and I'm on Capitol Hill, right? So we obviously should know how a bill starts, because, come on. Fuck it.
Woo, you sure gotta climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee, but I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will, but today I am still just a bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience.
This is the state of America's education right now. 22, having to replay the I'm Just a Bill Schoolhouse House Rock fucking song from, what is it, the fucking 80s? I was born in 2004. Why? And a lot of the debate that I hear about anti-abortion comes from people who don't have fucking kids. Oh wow, you must be so privileged, you and your book. Your book that's this thick that you decide is synonymous to this fucking book. Let me... Okay. Let me just read Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. Section 2. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states. Considering in 1776, when this was written, there was not 50. There were only several. And the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years. I'm only 3 away from that. And been 7 years a citizen of the United States. Well, shit, I was born in Detroit. Dearborn Hospital. And who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives and direct taxes, this is in a bracket, shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union, according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, considering that this was when slavery was around. This was before prison ever existed, and lest us not forget, the entire reason why the police are around in the first place was because the original police were slave catchers. Sit with that one. Continuing. Including those bound to service in a term of years, and including Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons. Who are those 3/5 of other persons? Not even done with Section 2 of Article 1. This is just the end of the bracket on page 18 of my book here. Now it has a footnote at the end of the bracket, so I'm going to read it. Changed by Section 2 of the 14th Amendment. Amendment 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Section 2. The Congress and the several states shall have concurrent power to enforce this article, by appropriate legislation. I don't think that's right. Okay, yeah. Page slipped together. Section 2, okay. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, including Indians not taxed. But when the right to vote any election for the choice of electors for President and Vice President of the United States, representatives in Congress and executive and judicial officers of a state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way obliged, except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in such state. And at the top of the 14th Amendment, it says the 14th Amendment was ratified July 9th, 1868. Still 100 years before the Civil Rights Movement. So, just thought I'd include that. Going back to Article 1, Section 2. The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years of the first meeting of Congress of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed 1 for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least 1 representative, and until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3. Mind you, in this time, Old English was still being used, so the spelling of choose is very different than what we would spell it today in 2026. Massachusetts, 8, Rhode Island and Providence plantations, 1. Actually, I'm going to look up what the Providence plantations was. Okay, so the reason why it is said that way, the reason why it says Rhode Island and Providence plantations, is because that is what Rhode Island used to be called. The colony of Rhode Island and plantations, the colony of Rhode Island and Providence plantations was an English colony on the eastern coast of North America, founded in 1636, on the former land of the Narragansett. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. Tribe by the Puritan minister Roger Williams. At the settlement he originally called Providence Plantations after his exile from the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Joined by 3 other settlements soon founded on Narragansett Bay, the colony became a haven for religious dissenters and was known for its commitment to religious freedom and self-governance. Separation of church and state still existed while they owned slaves. So, yeah, just wanted clarification on that. And I thought you would want to know the history too, because we don't get to learn actual U.S. history here. Actually, I will speak that from the rooftops. Continuing. Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. Next paragraph, still section 2. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall, issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, such as cut off there. I need to go to bed soon. Such as midterms, special elections, where, because usually, you have your midterms in November, halfway between each term, presidential term, and sometimes that's when you vote in new representatives, Senate or Congress. And then there are times where a representative dies, killed or not, assassinated or not. So that spot is empty, where they have to fill that. They have to, you can't just, not have the seat. Unless you're the state of Texas and you're racist. And you won't swear in a congresswoman because she'll vote for the Epstein files to be put in. But fuck you, Greg Abbott. And I live in Colorado, and I'm a leftist, and I'm not happy with Jared Polis, and he's a Democrat. So, we have opinions, but I think mine is correct, considering the law that I'm reading. Literally, our law. Continuing. The House of Representatives shall choose, there's our spelling of choose again, and I'll say it, I'll spell it for you guys. It is CHUSE, not CHOOSE. Choose their speaker and other officers, and shall have a sole power of impeachment. Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof. Footnote, changed by the 17th Amendment. 10, 12. Oh, okay. I read the wrong one again. Roman numerals. So for the Amendment 14, the enumeration of the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Alright. Alright, no, that's just Amendment 9. It is 3 fucking a.m. Mind you, I'm running off of 5 hours of sleep in the last 48 hours. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 17th Amendment. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. Immediately, now we're back at we're still at Section 3 of the First Amendment. Immediately after they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election, they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the 2nd year, and the second class of the expiration of the 4th year, and the third class at the expiration of the 6th year. So that third one may be chosen every 2nd year, and if vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise during the recess of legislature of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of legislature, which shall then fill such vacancies. 3. Changed by the 17th Amendment. I will be going back. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years, and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. Which means, inhabitant means you do not live in that place. Which means you cannot try to be a representative of a place you do not live in. Also means you can't vote in a state you're not registered to vote in. Giving a nod to you guys in California. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote. Unless they be equally divided. That means if there is a vote and it is exactly 50-50, the president can then have a vote. The president should not have any say in what bills are codified unless he is deciding to fucking... What is his fucking favorite word? I don't even care anymore. The Senate shall choose their other officers and also a president pro tempore as the absence of the vice president or when he shall exercise the office of the president of the United States. This means the Senate should choose somebody in the case of the president resigns, dies while in office, and the vice president has to take over. There then still has to be a vice president. Therefore, the Senate chooses someone to hold the office of vice president until the next election. The Senate will have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Judgments in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal of office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States, but the party convicted shall nevertheless be viable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. Liable. Don't we know what Trump is already liable for? Thank you. Now I'm going to return back to the 17th Amendment so that I can read that other bracket about filling vacancies. Which section was that? Changed by the 17th. Okay. So I read that first paragraph of the 17th. You can go back and listen to that. When vacancies happen in the representation of any state in the Senate, the executive authority of such state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, provided that the legislature of any state may empower the executive thereof to make temporary appointments until the people fill the vacancies by election, as the legislature may direct. This amendment shall not be so construed as to affect the election or term of any senator chosen before it becomes valid as part of the Constitution. 17th Amendment was ratified April 8th, 1913. You can look this up online. I happened to get this for a singular $1 at a No Kings protest that I went to last year. $1. It wasn't necessarily me buying it. It was me donating to a fucking organization for people's rights. And that is the end of section 3. This is already 30 minutes long, so I'm going to post this to my YouTube channel. But I would hope that if you have gotten this far in this video, that you understand why I am reading our rights. Mind you, on this specific version of the Constitution and the Independence, the Constitution starts on page 17. Section 3 ends on page 20. Now, continuing this whole series, I will also be reading the Independence as well, because, yeah. But I do find it very funny that Christians like to think that this book and the Bible, Old or New Testament, whatever testament, are synonymous with each other. These are not synonymous. They don't, and it's not Bible plus Constitution and Declaration of Independence of America. It's the Bible on its own. And then, oh look, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America. This one's 250 years old. That one's several thousand years old. These are very different texts. So, considering I am still on Amendment 1, this is going to be a long series. So, if you actually want to know what the law says, I suggest you listen. Please.